Damn, bro. Feels bad.
There's no point sending a calling
Also,
card
there's
if
something I
Margaret
wanted to
isn't
think
safe.
about. So, you know how
Send it somewhere on her campaign route.
the faster you move, the slower time goes, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't the inverse also be true? The slower you go, the faster time moves?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I think all of that is perception. So
No,
there's a
it's been
possibility.
proven math. Hell, there has been a person who has technically time traveled to 0.2 seconds.
Mm,
That was because he was stuck on a space shuttle going around the Earth for over a year and a half.
nice.
It was when the Soviet Union collapsed. But
When you
regardless,
Beating the Earth by 0.2 seconds. All right.
but in the inverse, if the inverse is possible, what happens if you reached absolute zero speed? Because you know the Earth is moving pretty damn fast around the sun, and then the sun's moving pretty damn fast around the universe. What would happen if you reached absolute zero speed?
Um, God,
Is it even possible to reach absolute zero?
I don't think it is. Because no matter what, your atoms would be moving.
Well, not in that sense.
Well, if you're saying absolute zero is an absolute zero, like complete motion stop,
I meaning as in, you know what I
as in
meant.
your theoretical person is moving so slow that it's slower than anything, not on a molecular level.
Yes, on a molecular level, that's cold, and we're actually pretty damn close to that, by the way. We've gone
Even
shit.
still, we're not
We've
there.
gone shit down to 0.000001 Kelvin. And if you don't know, 0 Kelvin is absolute zero. No molecular movement. We are, I don't even know, I think that's like 1/10,000th of a way off.
Still, 1/10,000th is a fucking stretch when you're trying to stop all movement completely.
Well, it's... Listen, also, if we do manage to make it possible, we would actually make a fifth element. Or not fifth, fifth state of matter.
Yeah.
Super solid.
Imagine the fucking air pressure if that just got exposed to normal ass oxygen.
Just whoosh.
Yeah, literally.
Well, if it got exposed to normalized oxygen, it would heat up super quick.
Oh yeah.
One crash from it, it would just fucking... Fun fact, it's actually done by lasers to make it that cold.
Cool.
You can look up a YouTube video on it, probably. But it's just kind of a weird thought to think, because everything in our universe has to work one way. Like, it's just how it works. If it works one way, it has to work in the opposite, right?
Yeah.
That's why if you manage to go absolute zero and manage to, or maybe not absolute zero speed, but if you want such a minor speed that you would wait until our solar system did an entire lap around the universe, I don't know how long that would take, honestly. So much that you could, a hot minute, that you could catch, then you would, it would come back to close enough to you that you could get back to Earth. How much would time be different if you put like 2 clocks? Because someone's actually done that before. They've put 2 clocks, like 2 synchronized clocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had one on their control tower and had one that flew across the entire world at supersonic speeds, so jet. And the clocks aligned afterwards, even though they had been perfectly aligned for quite a long time before.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like random ass shit when it comes to the way physics and all that
Like
works.
somewhere
Just
she's
fucking
bound
crazy.
to pass by.
You know, I think the more crazy part of it is the fact that someone figured that out. I think that's a more weird part.
What? That the faster you move, the slower things around you go?
That,
Or
well, first of all, that time and space are one and the same, and how just everything fucking works, you know?
Yeah.
It's really weird that someone was able to figure that out. But also on that, so you know how a lot of people are saying, oh, the speed of light, you can't go faster than the speed of light. Why not? Is there just a fucking wall that doesn't let you? If you manage
there are theories behind it.
If you were in space and you had infinite fuel and you went on a path that intersected nothing, you know, nothing, you wouldn't be affected by any gravity, nothing. You just went straight. Wouldn't you eventually go faster than the speed of light? Because you had nothing slowing you down, so you would infinitely accelerate. Am I wrong on that?
You're not.
Eventually, you should break the speed of light, because I think it's the exact same theory that we had before with the speed of sound, the sound barrier. We people used to think that it was a literal barrier. It was not physically possible, and then we broke it. We broke that barrier. What's the difference between breaking the light barrier?
I mean, being honest, I have a bad feeling that the light barrier is legitimately hypothetical to a point where it seems near impossible.
Yes, that's the difference between the sound barrier and the light barrier. Sound barrier, we just thought was impossible, but it ended up being quite possible. The light barrier is not a legitimate barrier, it's just theoretically impossible. But that also leads me to another thing. If light has a specific speed, it has a mass, right? Light must have a mass. Which it does. Photons, more specifically, that's what we see as light, has a very, very insignificant amount of mass, but it has one regardless. Fun fact, you can actually use that mass to accelerate yourself. It's what's called a solar sail. You can put it in space, and the light and like the photons coming off the sun will hit it, and will continuously move it through space. Because it has enough energy. Of course, you need something massive to move something small, a decent. You know what I mean? But it's possible. But at the same time, what the fuck is accelerating that? What's accelerating the protons? You know?
When literally existence itself is a hypothetical. Feels bad.
Hell, we're actually having tests done right now to see if we're living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Imagine if that fucking came back as true.
That'd be funny.
That would be scary. Because, well, hell, you know The Sims, right?
Yeah.
They have a joke thing where, like, if your character gets smart enough, they can figure out that they are living in a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if we pull the power cord? We're just dead. Gone. Deleted.
Atheist would be right, that's all that means. But,
Get fucked!
here's a better thing to worry about. If we were smart enough to find out that our entire world was a simulation, one, that would never fucking happen, because that would never be brought to the public, for obvious reasons. And here's that one reason. No one would have anything to lose. Meaning, endless amounts of murder, or rape, or drug distribution, or overthrowing the governments, or multiple governments, or the world.
Well, that's the thing. They still have a yeah, they have nothing to lose, so to speak, but, well, we don't know what happens to people when they die. Still.
Well, exactly.
The people who have been confirmed dead and brought back to life said that it's like a black void that's surprisingly comfortable. It's not warm, it's not cold, and you don't feel anything. It's just a black void that's comfortable. Something that you can just sleep in forever. That's how a lot of people who have died said It was. Which, in and of itself, makes it kind of weird to think that. Because is your brain still conscious then? At what point does your brain just stop? You just disappear?
Well, there are theories that consciousness is different than legitimate function.
Yeah, it is.
So,
You gotta love these talks that we're having at 1 a.m.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. No matter what, you shouldn't have anything to fear about, like, when it comes to death. Like, okay, this is literally why the atheism was started. And I'm not talking about those rat-ass motherfuckers, like, God's not real, you know? Not that. Not that bullshit, okay? Not those fucking tards. I'm talking, like, legitimately the start of atheism, and this one fucking reason. Why should I be bound by rules that I don't even know exist, right? That's literally the bare minimum. That's all you need to abide by. You're an atheist, right? You don't have a reason to believe in a god, so higher powers don't mean shit. You now no longer have a reason to fear death, because death doesn't mean shit. You don't fucking know. Too bad, right? What is there to lose? Which
Someone didn't ask Reddit, which I found really funny. It was like, what atheist, what if suddenly when you died, you appeared in front of God? What would you say? And some of the answers on that were pretty fucking funny. It's like, well, for fuck's sake, you could have tried to show us. A lot of them were like, so you want to explain 2020 for us?
I'd just be like, well, shit, see ya.
I'm going to hell.
I'm gonna be honest.
With
if anybody would legitimately be in the face of God, like as they died and they were an atheist, the first thing they'd do is ask a question. And the one thing they would question would literally not be, why didn't you show us this, that, and the other? They would be ridiculing the Bible. That's literally what they'd be doing.
Also, a lot of the shit in the Bible is really weird. It's taken out of context. That's actually religion in general. So much of his shit is taken out of context. Like, the hate for, like, religious people hating gay people. In the Bible, it says to accept everyone for who they are. Now, I'm not talking about every Bible ever. Of course, I don't know the Bible by heart, but nowhere does it state that being gay is wrong. If anything, it encourages people to be themselves. To be who they are as a good person. You know?
The only reason gay and things like that aren't acceptable is because naturally that was taboo. I mean, not to say that it's wrong, it's just it developed as a taboo over time.
Actually, fun fact, do you know there are almost every mammal that we've studied so far has found to at least have a couple of them end up being gay. But only in one mammal ever has there ever been a fear for their species being gay. And that is humanity.
Yeah. That's because we have things like social status and other different things. Also, the human in general is a very petty creature, let's be honest here.
Humans are very selfish.
Oh yeah.
It's been almost a well-known fact that, well, people, first of all, they hate losing power. And will do basically anything they can to gain it.
Yep.
It takes someone who's really dedicated to making sure everyone is the same. Like, it's hard to say that, but like, it takes someone with a not normal mind concept to make things equal for everyone. You know?
Yeah.
Or hell, it takes someone with an extra weird one for them to give up their own self living for someone else. Now, not talking about parents. That's a genetic thing that's been proven through every mammal ever, actually any species ever, that a mother or a sometimes father, mostly mother, will give up their own life to protect their young. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you giving up your own life to save random strangers.
Yeah.
Like, we consider that bravery and whatnot, but every human has some sort of self-preservation. Actually getting into that, about the people who commit suicide. I'm willing to say that people who commit suicide and people who would die for other people, just randoms, don't have much difference. You know?
The only difference behind them is the thought process beforehand.
Exactly. I feel like if someone is willing to die for someone else, if they got the right things, they would be totally willing to commit suicide as well.
Yeah. It's mindset that makes them different. That's the only thing. Suicide branches out from deep thoughts of negativity and depression. Cough, cough, deep thoughts of negativity. Sacrificing yourself for another person is only different because you're thinking of them and their life continuing versus you and your life ending. So they're polar opposites, two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
So.
But that's how I kind of thought of myself. I've been on both sides of the coin. Like, well, you fucking know me already.
Yeah.
But I've also, like, in so many situations, how do I explain this? I've been in situations where people would have gotten really hurt if I had not stepped in. And a lot of those times, I ended up getting hurt in the process. Now, of course, getting hurt and getting killed are two very different extremes, you know? They're different. But I think being on both sides of the coin of being willing to how do I say this? This is I'm gonna sound really dumb by saying this, but because I have been suicidal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That already proves that my self-worth is like little to none.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the fact that if I was to save someone else and give up my own life in the process, I think that would be a way of gaining my own self-worth, you know? Showing that I am worthy. Or hell, it could even be an excuse just to die. You know?
I mean, as I'll say, dude, it's mindset. I mean, being honest, you can justify anything for anything in the world. Hence why excuses exist. You know, I could justify killing an entire person's family as revenge or self-protection, when in reality all I did was kill that man's entire family.
I guess context does.
Yeah, context is everything, so is mindset. So, I mean, sure, you could find, you know, and I'm sorry if I sound like an asshole, I don't give a fuck, quote-unquote, self-worth, right?
Bro, you've like, I'm sorry if I sound like an asshole, I don't give a fuck. If you didn't give a fuck, you would have said sorry.
Yeah. Nah, people take offense to it, and I want them to know I mean it.
Bro,
Anyway.
People take offense for anything nowadays. With fucking modern cancel culture.
Basically. Nevertheless, like, sure, I'm taking it to the extremes. You know, quote-unquote, self-worth can be its own thing. Versus another thing, it's like hardcore depression, deep thoughts of suicide, all my friends are dead, right? Gonna laugh at some Chester Bennington real quick, and don't you dare say push me to the edge or I will fucking maybe block you, because I knew you were thinking it, because I was thinking it.
I thought of it. I was never gonna say it, but actually, I mainly thought of this one scene from Vanoss, where what's the fucking monkey guy? I forget. Either way, him. He was doing a GTA 5 mission, and his mom called, and he forgot to give context that he was playing a video game. So it was like, so he was on the call, was like, and his mom was, so what are you doing? Oh, I'm just delivering this package to this guy. What? How did you get the package? Well, we had to steal from these guys, but now all my friends are dead. And, they're like, and his mom's like, what? Yeah, they ended up getting shot. And his mom is just so fucking freaked out. He didn't even think about it. Like, he didn't even think about context that it's a video game.
Died. Sorry, Mom.
And she's like, okay, just be careful. Is this a sketchy man? He's kind of an asshole, but he pays well.
Oh, man.
And then after the hangout, everyone just burst out laughing, like, bro, you gotta say that you were playing a video game. And he's like, shit! So he instantly called her back, like, oh, Mom, I'm so sorry. I forgot to tell you I'm playing a video game.
Oh, dude.
And then, of course, his mom just starts cussing him out on the phone. Excuse me.
That's great. Yeah.
But what were you saying before?
Oh, we were originally talking. What I was originally talking about. Let me see if I can, like, go maximum zoomage on my brain cells real quick. See if I can fucking hotwire myself to remember. Yeah, that said, just mindset. That's about it. Fucking. That's all I can say. I could go into more detail on just mindset. That's what it comes down to. So there's no point really going into more depth. Think about it all you want.
Hold up, give me a minute.
Alright. Fucking dildo Baggins. Brainiac, why you look so nasty? Everyone else looks like a robot, but you look like a shitty cosplayer for fucking Darkstalkers.
Sorry about that, I'm back.
Oh,
Never mind, I guess I'm not.
What's up, bastard? How could you? How could you leave me like this? Do you have any consideration? Oh, what's up, kid? Nothing much.
Aha, you fool, I am actually back now.
What up?
We were having a very weird conversation that went many different ways.
Nice.
So, long story short, Caden, this entire thing started with Rocket being like, speed. and then it became consciousness. Then it became, what if the world's a hologram? Then, what if you didn't have anything to lose? Then, atheism. Then, suicide. Then, self-sacrifice. Then, suicide again. Was it self-sacrifice? I think it's both. That was this entire conversation just now.
That was
And long story short, it all dumbed down to mindset.
If this world is a hologram, bro, I wish I could change the hologram settings, make my meat a little bit bigger, because that shit's micro.